This will be my new update video as to tips and tricks, things I've learned with this, how to properly use it, how to care for it, how to air dry it, how to dry it, how to store it, so on and so forth. So let's kick things off with the first thing we have here. It's this little heating sauna unit. Been using this thing. This thing's a little tank. I gotta say that it definitely works well. I have it plugged in. As the first video, I had it plugged in and it was boiling. It doesn't do that anymore. Why? I do not know. So now it just spins like this until you fire it on. So the first tip I would say is let it boil at 9 and then set it down to maybe 5. But to be honest, I do not think the heating units, the heating number is actually accurate, because even at like 1, it still boils everything as if it was on 9. So I don't really think this does anything. It's just literally an on-off switch for the boiler. As you could hear it, it's already kicking off. So how I go about using this is before every use, this chair is typically not in here because I just put it to let it air dry. I lay down 2 towels, basically because this is a steam sauna. There's going to be a lot of water and condensation building up on the sides and on the roof. It will drip. It will all run down. If you are using it on a hardwood floor like I am, it will penetrate the bottom. The bottom, as I listed, or as I showed in the first video, is just, this is all it is. It's like a tent material. It will seep through. So what I do to combat that is I use 2 towels, put them there, throw the chair in, and basically it's ready for use. Towels soak it up. It's not like it's raining in here, but it definitely does create enough moisture for it to penetrate the bottom, and it will seep through. The towels, as you see, still the same. This method I've used, there's absolutely 0 water getting through the bottom layer with this towel method. When it comes to actual use of this tent, basically when you're sitting in here and you have all the doors zipped up and fully closed, doesn't matter what heat setting you have set, it will keep boiling. It will keep increasing the temperature inside, and it will get to a point where it's literally unbearable to sit in. It gets this hot. So maybe after about, once you fully zip it up and you sit in here for a good solid 10-20 minutes, after you pass the 15-minute mark without letting any air out, it starts to get really hot. Like, take my word for it, I have to get out after about 15 minutes, even on the one setting. I've noticed that when it gets to about medium level, about 2 liters in the steamer, it starts to pump the heat. I've had to basically vent the heat through using this little window. It gets really hot. Another tip I've learned is using this, take yourself a nice cold bottle of water, throw ice cubes in it, and just keep it between your legs. It will be there for when those moments feel like it's just way too hot. Depends on your heat tolerance. I have a pretty good heat tolerance, so I can withstand this thing. I've almost sat in it for 45 minutes, but I've had to vent it. I'm not gonna lie, what I've showed temperature-wise, I do not believe I have an accurate temperature reader for this, because this thing does create well over 140 Fahrenheit heat after about 20 minutes, and it just feels like it climbs and it climbs. I have an aquarium temperature probe, so it's highly not accurate. It's like maybe $10 on Amazon, but it gave me a general consensus where the temperature, kind of like what range it's in. This thing gets hot. So for what you pay for, you definitely get the heat that you want. All comes down to your heat tolerance and how well and how long you can manage it and how you sit in here. After about, like, as you can hear, I have it running. There's no steam coming in as of right now, but I'm getting this thing ready for its, I've already lost count how many times I've used it. I am beyond happy with this purchase. Anyone kind of sitting on the fence, you're like, isn't gonna get hot enough? It will. I can't stand it. And I've been in saunas well over like 100 degrees. Dry saunas. This will give you the same feeling, just with a little bit of moisture, hence the towels. The moisture builds the heat, and it is intense. Another tip for actually using this, always have this uncovered, because this will create a world of more heat coming into this tent, and it is absolutely a game changer as to having this capped off or having it not capped, if that makes sense. I just put this here just so I don't lose the cap, but it doesn't fill up. After about a 45-minute mark, there's still room to fill up in this, and just be warned with your feet, don't come near this thing. It is boiling water, boiling steam. Put your hand up to about here and you will burn it at its full heat. Just be warned. Leave it open. If it is still too hot for you, you cap it off and work your way from there. Another thing I've noticed using this, after about maybe 10 runs in it, you'll start to see that this is not as tight as it once was when you first unpacked it. Once it like expands with the heat, it kind of loses its firmness. I don't know how to properly say it. I've even tied it to these things because they have little tie downs, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't tension it or anything. So that's just kind of like one thing I've noticed. It's not a game changer, but it definitely has a bit more sag to it, like just because it's unzipped there. Even inside, the fibers loosen up and they get a little, like, as you can see, this is the back. It gets really like saggy, if that makes sense, but it has zero effect on how it works and what it does. It's just, I want to point out absolutely everything I've seen with this thing. So I think I've covered just about everything I can think of. I'm going to zip it up. The steamer is at about 7 minutes now. It's been heating on level 9. You can see it's starting to boil over there. Closed it up. Overall, I'm very happy with this. Aside from the leaking issues that go through the one layer on the bottom, the steamer unit has worked without a hiccup. The remote works great. Heat settings, like I said, I do not think they work with this thing. It's more of like a visual thing than it actually does anything. So it's steaming up. I just zipped it up. It's been, the timer's at 37. It's only been a couple seconds, basically, maybe 30 seconds or so. As you can see, it's starting to build steam. It's gonna go in about another minute or two. It's gonna go fully white, and this thing is like, the steam is gonna build in here and it's gonna start pumping the heat out really fast. You have to be really quick getting in and out. You're gonna lose a lot of heat. Kind of, if you take your time, unzip it, look behind you, check your phone, do whatever, and then get in, you're gonna lose maybe about 60 to 80% of your heat. Zip it back up. My girlfriend personally prefers it that way. She likes to let all the steam out, get into it, and likes the temperature to slowly build. As me, I just like to jump in the heat, zip it up as quick as I can, and just get the most heat I can. But to each their own, and their own heat management. It's like, okay, it's not enough yet, but it's definitely going to be there. I'm going to use it now. I don't know how long I'll be able to stay in it, but we'll see. Definitely building moisture. You can definitely feel it. Heat escaping doesn't really escape. I'm in a little closed off little bedroom like this. It's not even huge. So you could literally be in the room, laying on the bed, watching whatever you want on YouTube, whatever, and just kick on the fan up here and you won't even feel the heat, as opposed to someone sitting in here will be dying and drenched in sweat. I prefer the moisture, so does my girlfriend, over the traditional dry saunas, as this kind of exfoliates your skin. My girl's whole into skincare and everything, so she really loves this. Moistens your skin, exfoliates your pores. With the heat, it opens everything up, and then after that, she does all of her face care routines and everything, and honestly, she has seen a difference in quality of skin following her procedures just because of this, compared to how she would do her routines prior to, without this thing, and then with it. Her pore size, everything, she has nothing but good things to say about this thing and how useful it is for everybody and anyone that wants to use it. Enough talking. I'm going to hop in this thing. I'm not going to record it because I don't have a good angle, plus so you can't really see much through it. Like this, it doesn't look like you can see, because someone commented you can't see through this, but when you're in it, you could clearly see the TV. Like, I'm on YouTube and I'm going to put on either a podcast or something to watch through this little window, even though it doesn't look like you can see through it. 85% you'll see through it. Maybe a little bit of fog, but nonetheless, you'll still see everything through it. I'm gonna hop in, use it, and then I'll show you the procedures I use and what I do after to dry this thing, maintain it, and how you can keep it from smelling all yucky and moldy and stuff. It's not moldy, it doesn't smell like that, but I'm just saying, if you leave something moist long enough and damp, it will start growing stuff. It will start smelling. I haven't used any cleaning products in this thing. You guys will see, it's very maintainable, very usable, very beginner friendly. Takes maybe 5 minutes to maintain it after use, and it will be good for, it's been, I don't even know how many hours. I probably have clocked over 10 hours in this thing now, solid, like, combined. And nothing but good things to say. I'm really proud of this purchase, and I'm happy I pulled the trigger. I forgot to mention, for the steam unit, I always use filtered water. I've used tap water in this once, and on the bottom of it, after a full 45-minute run, I've noticed that there's some kind of oxidation or some kind of buildup on the actual little steaming pot inside. That's what I'm assuming is like chlorine, all the irons, minerals, everything in the water that's unfiltered is kind of just calcifying inside. That's the word, calcifying. So don't use tap water in this thing. Maybe use distilled water or even bottled water. I know it's kind of a lot to ask. You know, it's kind of like expensive, but a little bit of maintenance goes a long way, especially with a cheap little China unit. I just call them that because it is what it is. I call it for what it is. But that's the one thing I have to mention about this is always use filtered water, bottled water, or distilled water in this, and you will dramatically see how inside will stay brand new looking. Whew. So, I had to take a break. I am at 11 minutes at 3 heats. Once you get down to the final 20 minutes, oh, whoo, that shock you get of like the cold going from the heat, incredible. Unbelievable. Honestly, for what you get, it's insane. Considering there's some people that go to a gym just to sit in a sauna or steam room, this one-time investment will outweigh your months and years of pain. Hi, hello. Highly recommended. I'm gonna take a break because it's a lot to sit in here. At 3 heat, haven't lowered it. I just put it at that and got in. Give you guys an update. One thing I do after this is cold shower, cold exposure. It's freezing in Canada. I don't have the room for a cold plunge, so I do cold showers after this. So there's some important things I should mention. One thing to never do is do not enter this thing on an empty stomach or without proper hydration. In here, while I'm in here, I maybe sat in here about 25 minutes, give or take, maybe half hour, I can't recall properly. But you will, for me personally, when I'm sitting in there, focus on breathing. Don't breathe through the nose. You can, but it may lead to nosebleeds because of like your skin and your nose is very thin. I've had a nosebleed from a dry sauna. Haven't had one from here, just doing nose breathing, but it does feel funky and it doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. So I don't recommend doing it. Get in there, focus on your breathing, keep your head down, colder air on the bottom. So just inhale that, and then another thing is be hydrated. In here, you're gonna lose a lot of fluid sweating, and you will notice that. When you get out, you might have that lightheaded feeling. Don't do anything dramatic. Don't go in here right when you have a crazy heart rate. Say you just did like 50 push-ups and you just want to jump in there. Do not do that. Let your heart rate come down because you may shock your heart by like with the sudden heat change, and your heart's trying to deal with the accelerated heart rate from the like physical load you just did. It will be twice the load in here. Take some time, let your heart rate come down, and then hop in it. So I got out. I'm wearing a bathrobe. Do not use this. Go shower and get dressed to go out. Go somewhere. Give yourself some time. This will raise your body core temperature. and it will take some time for your for the temperature in your body to come down. Hence why I'm in a bathrobe. You will be sweating for maybe, it depends how everyone's different, but for the next maybe 5 to 45 minutes, you will be sitting here and feeling just the heat coming off of you, and you may be sweating. That is your body trying to regulate your body core, like your core temperature, which is completely normal. This is what you want. This is your body working to get all the blood flowing and regulate your... This is the purpose of this sauna, or heat therapy, if you want to call it that. I did a cold shower after this, just to each their own. I don't have room to set up their little cold plunge thing, and if you order this thing, they'll always try and throw in their little cold plunge thing. Don't fall for it. If there is a bigger discount code, use it. It will get rid of their free ice pod thingy that they throw in. That's a crazy deal. Go on Amazon. Their ice pod only has 6 braces going around it. There are ones on Amazon that are better build quality, better insulated, and are just overall just better reviews on it, and have a lot more reviews, and they're a lot more structurally sound. Use the discount code and save yourself the money. And if you really need the cold plunge thing, I'll link it in the description for the one I'm talking about on Amazon. Much better quality, and I recommend you save your money on this and buy yourself a quality ice plunge thing. But I think I will create a whole different video about cold plunging, where I will create my own ice plunge for using a used chest freezer. There's a lot of videos out there. If you guys are interested in it and you guys have the room, look, see? That's what I'm talking about. You will be sweating. It will be coming out. Perfectly normal. Just be aware. Don't use this and run off to a formal event or go outside into, give yourself time to regulate your temperature. I gave you guys a little hint about the whole cold plunge thing. I will cover that later on in another video when time comes, because I currently have my project car in my garage. This is a drifting channel after all. I just decided to throw this on here because exposure, and there's not enough reviews about this, talking about this product. Figured 2 for 1, get exposure to the channel, learn about this, maybe watch a drift video. But I will get into that later on. I will show you how I construct it, how to find one, how to do everything. You can probably build an ice plunge freezer for under $200, depending what you find and what you're working with. Cover that in a different video. I left the steamer going because I didn't want to turn it off and then come to you guys and show you, oh, this is how I want to show you real time what to expect, how to shut this thing down, and how to properly care for it. So I've had this thing running. I'm going to show you now. I'm going to flip the camera, and basically I'll show you the steps that I take to maintain this thing and deal with the heat. So as you see, the timer has run out, and it is, I don't know, it still sounds like it's boiling. But what I do is I just pull it from here, open this, there you go. So that's a whole 45 minutes, and we're just under the 1.5 liter mark. So that's what I was talking about. When you use tap water, it left a bunch of this on the bottom there. So that's after cleaning, but I couldn't get some of the stains out from the tap water. Don't recommend using tap water. So now that I have this open, steam is coming out of there, because if you close it, it will stay hot. It's like a thermos in there. It will retain and keep the heat going. Now, see how much water is in there. See how fast it's fogging back up. 2 things you can do. 1, unplug it, let it let the heat, the moisture kind of evaporate and let it just go everywhere on the walls. Or 2, turn on the fan, let it get up to speed, and just unzip everything and let it just evaporate out. I'm in a small room, as I show you guys. There is literally no effect. Don't be afraid of the drywall absorbing anything. Your walls are coated, so it's not going to do anything with paint. If you're really worried, you can open the window and then crack this thing. But for me, fan is going. Let's do this. Bring it up to about there. Woo! There we go. You guys saw that. The camera caught it a little bit. That's it. There's no more steam in here. You can comfortably sit in here and zero heat. It is gone. Right now I'm sitting in here. I just sat down. That fan, I could already feel the breeze coming in here. That is more than enough for me. Maybe people don't have a fan. Just buy yourself one of those little even clip-on, like you can clip it onto this little $20 fans from Amazon and just point it to the top and just let it air dry. Honestly, you don't even need that. Just grab a towel, wipe everything down. So let me show you. This is that used rag you guys saw in the unboxing video. Just gonna run my hand down this here, just to kind of show you. Oh wow, it doesn't want to stay on, but it's not much moisture. So honestly, what I do is I just grab the towel from here. Oh, before I carry on, this is the best way I found. If you have something to brace yourself on, as like a back, as a wall, sorry, that's how I positioned it. I've turned this to over here, and I always kept sitting in the corner, and I could never lean on anything. And honestly, this chair does get uncomfortable after like 20 minutes, 15 minutes. You're not going to be comfortable. So I just kind of tilted it, and I found that a lot more comfortable. What I was saying about throwing more heat into this thing, I'm not going to do. This is beyond manageable and works great. Bigger chair, it's going to sit you up higher. Honestly, the level you're sitting at now is very good because the heat is like perfectly head level. Any higher, it's going to seem like it's too much. That is just in my opinion. I just take the chair out and I let it air dry. This thing is dry always by the morning. And then what I do is I just take these towels. Be very careful. That is full of steaming hot water. So do not tip that. Do not grab that. Be cautious with that thing. Be cautious with it. What I take is I just take the towels, one of the towels here, and I just wipe down all the sides, the roof. As you can see, look. Okay, well, you get it. There's a lot of evaporation in here. There's a lot of moisture. I just take that and dry all the sides. And that's already, it's kind of cooling off. Oh, this is already cold to the touch with the fan. So I'll just wipe it dry now. And that's it. Just wiped it all dry. Floor. Not a drop. Towels absorb everything. Like I said, after a full 45-minute run, there's just that much water. Honestly, it does not collect a lot. And that is literally what I do. I leave it just like this. Not everyone has the luxury of a fan, so you could literally just let it air dry and it'll be perfectly ready to go for the next time you want to use it. Honestly, I can't complain. Very happy with this. So I hope I've covered, or I think I've covered just about everything I could think of using this thing. You could see the legs slightly have a little like to them. Kind of have a little bit of slack in them. It is what it is. It's plastic. You warm it up, it's gonna get a little bit softer. Won't retain the rigidity, but have no complaints. I've knocked it. I've hit it with my knee like pretty good, trying to lift my leg and getting into it. It's poof, nothing happened. Kept its form. Things I've covered. Don't go in here completely hungry. Stay hydrated. Have a nice ice cold bottle of water in there with you. More ice cubes, the better. It'll just kind of help you regulate your body temperature and just help let you stay in there longer. You can even crack a bottle and just pour it on your head, your neck, whatever. Put the cold water on your neck. To each their own. Everyone will find their own way that they like to use this thing. Don't fall for the ice baths. They're not as good quality as they seem. There's a lot better for cheaper. I will link that in the description. I'll link Nurecover in the link as well. If there's no running discounts, which they always will be running discounts because it's a drop shipping company. Anyone that doesn't know what drop shipping is, just Google it. You'll understand right away what it all is and how this all works. You can get a lot better value for what you want when you just spend the extra 5 minutes and just research. Overall, as a steam sauna thingy, I'm beyond words. I'm honestly did not I did not think that this would offer the amount of value that it does for the price. Could have been a little cheaper, but nonetheless, well beyond the investment for your health, for everything, skincare. Like, my skin has cleared up a lot using this thing as well, and I don't do anything. I just wash my face with water and soap maybe once a month. It's awesome. I love this thing. If you're contemplating on getting and you're on the fence, pull the trigger. They have an insane return policy. I haven't tried using it because I'm not sending this thing back. Like, the steamer breaks, I'm going to just order one off of Amazon. It's the same thing, probably even cheaper. This thing tears or rips, I'm going to go to a dry cleaner and ask the little lady to just sew it up, do it, whatever. This thing is awesome. Honestly, I can't imagine life without it. Every night before, well, don't use it at like an hour before bedtime, because this will wake you up, if that makes sense. It's definitely going to get your heart going, and if you're tired after using this thing, it'll just you'll just feel energized. Especially with the cold exposure, cold shower, whatever you guys do for cold therapy, it'll wake you up even more. So give this a couple hours before you go to bed, because you won't be able to go to bed. It's going to take, I'm still sweating from this thing, and it's going to be going on for another maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, that my body's going to be regulating its temperature. And basically how I use this thing is I just go into it with my boxers, my underwear, briefs, whatever you want to call them. I go in here, I sit in there, and then straight from there, I'll just grab a towel and I go straight to the cold shower, and then I go in there with my underwear, boxers, briefs. I just wash them in the water, depending if you know what I mean. If you haven't done anything, they're clean pair, and you just kind of threw them on after a shower and you want to go use this thing, just water wash them and just just hang them up and let them dry. The towels at the bottom there, I have not washed them once. I literally just take them out, hang them up, let them air dry, put them back down, and just keep it going. That's no funky smells, no nothing, because it's more moisture, so everything gets damp. So obviously after about a week, wash them, but you don't have to wash your towels every time after every use. For everyone worried, like, oh, I need to go buy more towels. I need hundreds of pairs of underwear to sit in. I need to have boxer shorts or swimming trunks, do whatever. You don't really need it. It's to each their own. You'll find your own method. But for me personally, it's not that bad. I don't know. Everyone might think it's unhygienic, whatever. It's steam. The heat kills it. It gets hot enough to kill bacteria, in my opinion. I haven't had any funky smells from the towels. I don't use them. I just pulled it out of the washer and I just use them straight for water collection and drying things up. Hang it back up, rinse and repeat every week. Just replace them, wash them, and just keep it going. So, I think I've covered everything. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I'm going to link that ice pod if you guys are really set on getting an ice pod. If there's no other better discount codes, they'll throw it in for you because it's part of their deal. Try and use a better discount code. If not, I have a 10% discount code in the description. I'll link Nurecover's website where you can get this thing from. I'll link the Amazon ice cold plunge thing. And when it gets a little warmer and I can get my car out of my garage, I will start the build for the freezer ice plunge. Show you how you can hook up a filtration to it, because I have a saltwater aquarium, so I'm pretty well versed with water filtration, keeping water clean, just in general, everything, heat management, how to get it to not freeze. Very simple things, very cheap investments that can go a long way, as opposed to buying those thousands of dollar machines where they can cool off the water. Thanks for watching.